I read an article that was talking about these good news for Kaizer Chiefs, and I was like, okay, actually, these make a lot of sense, and we're going to look at all of them because really they are good news. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. So the first one is the one that is a bit controversial, but kind of true. So there's been a lot of tension among Kaizer Chiefs fans about Cedric Kaizer and Khalil Ben Youssef taking over from Nabi, and people like me talking about the feeling that those two betrayed Nabi. But I think that one good thing is that it's now official, right? It's now official that those two guys are in charge. I would have preferred if they just made one in charge and the other one an assistant. But the fact that now the whole is Nabi actually gone, is Nabi not gone, that whole saga is done. We know that Nabi is gone, he's moved on, and now we can now say, okay, these guys are in charge. And I think this is not necessarily good, but it's clear. Over the past few days, I've been going over the potential replacements for Nabi, but the club made it clear in the statement that they released that these two guys, Khalil and Kaze, are taking over until the end of the season. They did not call them interim coaches, no. They said they're actually taking over until the end of the season. So it's not like Chiefs are saying they are looking for other coaches and these guys are going to be, warming the place and getting the team ready for the next coach. No. They are actually the coaches and they might continue. I think that if they do well, Kaizer Chiefs will extend their contract. So for one, that is clarity enough so that we don't think, oh, they are leaving next week, they are not leaving next week. It's fine. They are staying. Next one is Mfundo Vilakazi and Luke Batman are coming back from the Under-20 World Cup. They lost, but Mfundo Vilakazi had a fantastic tournament. He played really well, and I know a lot of people are obviously, rightfully so, saying that Mfundo Vilakazi should be given more game time. Mfundo Vilakazi should be played as a 10 because he played in the Under-20 World Cup and he played very well as a 10. I guess the coaches will see what they do. They will probably experiment with him because, to be honest, we have had some issues with a 10, right? Because as much as Umtu can try, but sometimes Nsirino tries, but you need something different sometimes. A bit of competition perhaps might be helpful to this. So we will see. And look, Batman as well, he did not have a good World Cup. Obviously, he's not played in a while. He's just been training with the Chiefs. And, the Cape Town Spurs saga, him and Velepai, that's the next thing actually. Him and Velepai are now cleared. That's number 3. Batman, Velepai are cleared. So now they are not just training with the team, but they are now eligible for selection, which is just fantastic because, again, one thing that we always talk about, I know that Chiefs has not really played the new signings, but what is happening right now is that their mere presence means that they are not just, part of the squad, training with the squad, but they can now come in. Velepai can come in as a right winger, can play even as a left winger. He plays both of those positions. But man, as a striker, as a 10, they can play him as a winger as well, should they wish so. So more options, right? More options. And that brings us to number 4. And there is Ethan Chislet. He's been sitting on the bench over the past few games. I think against Siwelele, that should be the game that he starts, right? But on top of that, more so, the player that I think is most likely going to start is Etios Aikotaro. He was injured, right? He was injured a lot, not a lot, but he was injured when we thought he was going to make his debut. But then he got injured, but now he's back. So that's very good. And as I said before, I think that over Chislet, over Velepai, over Batman, the player that is likely going to make his debut before all of them is Etiosa Ekotaro because for whatever reason, Chiefs decided to not even put Flavio Silva on the bench against Stelis. So that means they're not really that confident in him. They even chose Morris to go in and take penalties. But now, With Silva, we can say, okay, it's because he hasn't played in South Africa. He does have 2 goals, which is more than what some strikers who are playing in the national team have. But he probably still needs to adapt to the South African football. Igotaro doesn't. So maybe he has an edge on him because of that. So that's very good. Number 5, injuries. Given him Simango and Rushun Dotli are coming back. And Ulebohang Mabue is also getting closer to starting. But I also want to focus on Dotli and Miguel. No, Dotli and Given him Simango. Because there's been complaints, a lot of complaints about, oh no, Miguel this, Miguel that. I want options. Nah, I'm not saying Miguel sucks. For me, I'm fine with Miguel playing. But if the presence of Dotli offers the technical team a better option, then by all means. Because as a footballer, Dotli is better than Miguel as a footballer. As a partnership, we've already established that they were a horrible partnership. Dotli and Miguel were not a good partnership. Miguel has performed really well when he played with Abo Kwenek, when he played with Abo Cross, when he played with even Umakati. He just didn't play well with Dotli. I think there was a lack of understanding there or something. So maybe since Dotli is now playing, would come back and play as a left centre back or a centre back, because if Kuneka plays as a right centre back and then Dotli plays as the central centre back, because on the left centre back now, the person who plays there is Upredley Cross, because if you haven't noticed, Chiefs now plays with 3 centre backs there. So that option of Dotli coming in is also going to be refreshing. But also over and above that, Dotli's availability, besides the fact that he can bench Miguel, him coming on can also mean Cross can play as a left wing back. Again, if you haven't noticed, Pulemodi plays as a left wing back for Kaizer Chiefs, which means he plays the left side on his own. He goes up and down because Cross is not allowed to go forward. It's only the right wing back in Solomons who's allowed to go up and down. So that also gives you that flexibility to be able to experiment with different things and try different partnerships to see what works and what does not work for you. Lebohang Mabue is also going to be key in midfield, because one thing that is happening right now is Nkosi Mpile Ngcobo is playing that position, but he doesn't have the gas to play the entire game, but he also doesn't have the legs. He also doesn't have the legs to run up and down the field. What ends up happening the moment he tries to do that, he gets a yellow card because he becomes very rough and very aggressive in a wrong way. Because, a player like Umteto can be aggressive, but it won't be the way that Umshini goes, and they call it a striker's tackle. Yenage, he's an attacking player's tackle that he does. Kanti Umteto vele as a defensive player, he is more clean. If you take Umabu into account, if he plays that box-to-box position, then it's obviously going to give us an element that we currently lack. Which brings us to number 6, the fact that the game against Simba, by the way, just remind again, this is not a Simba from Tanzania, but this is a Simba from DRC. The second leg of that game is on the 26th at Dobsonville Stadium, because FNB Stadium is not available. So we'll be at Dobsonville Stadium, not at FNB Stadium. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, Dobsonville is a bit further from where I live, but I like Dobsonville Stadium. I really do. Lucas Masterpiece Moripe Stadium, I like them 2 stadiums. In fact, like one of the best 3 stadiums I've been into in terms of atmosphere is Lucas Masterpiece Moripe, Dobsonville, and then there is also the not Cape Town Stadium, but Athlone Stadium. I like those 3 stadiums. I know they're small. I feel like they are more fitting to South African football, because we don't really sell 30,000 tickets. And FNP, even though it's 30,000 people, it looks like it's empty, because people are just, the perspective, it's just a massive stadium and it's just a third of people in there. But if you take 30,000 people to Dobsonville Stadium, what's the capacity at Dobsonville Stadium? Look at me, Googling Dobsonville Stadium capacity. Look at me, capacity. Yeah, capacity at Dobsonville Stadium is 24,000. So yeah, boguti the people you see there at FNP will always be filling up that kind of stadium, and that will just add to the atmosphere. So, what are you looking forward to the most? Asanele Velepa's debut, Bigodaro's debut, or any other thing? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumo.